have to talk about this Colleen thing because I'm so shocked, and I'm a little bit disappointed. I'm very disappointed in her, but I'm disappointed also in myself because like I saw the warning signs. I know that everyone's gonna say this, like, oh, I knew, but I did, right? Like, and I don't know why I didn't listen to myself. And this is the thing that like irritates me. It's like I'll see warning signs about people, and then I'll just be like, la 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 la, it's fine. I know she did something a little bit ago where she was completely playing the victim, and I was like, wow, that's really an interesting perspective on this. So I was like, okay, well maybe that's just really how she sees it. And I just kind of moved on, and now she's doing the same thing on a way bigger scale, completely inappropriate, which is crazy. Okay, crazy is not a good word. It's wild. And you know, I knew there was a reason that I wasn't interested in Miranda Sings anymore. Because, like, it got weird. It got weird, and I was noticing it getting weird, and I thought that it just wasn't my sense of humor anymore. But the truth is, it was just changing into completely inappropriate jokes and conversations. And I didn't notice. I guess I didn't put a name to it. So it didn't alarm me, because it's just like, this is just what they're doing over there. That's fine. I just go over here. So that's when I switched to her vlog channel, and I stopped watching like the Miranda Sings stuff because it just wasn't for me. Although I did like Haters Back Off. It was like right on the cusp, but it was just, I don't know. I have to rewatch it from the frame of now and see if I still feel the same way about it that I did. But I did enjoy it, and I did want them to get another season because I thought that contextualizing it, all the jokes and the weird stuff, it kind of made it less weird. Like, you knew it was weird, like you knew it was inappropriate, but it was loud about that. It wasn't like secret or like trying to sell it as anything that it wasn't. It just was inappropriate. It just didn't occur to me that there were kids watching it. I'm a 24-year-old woman and I barely got the jokes. How is a kid gonna look at this stuff and be like, you know, like, it's just frustrating. It was disappointing to see, because when she first pulled out the ukulele, I was like, oh, here she goes again, because she does this a lot. She often plays the ukulele to get her point across, and I don't know why she does it, but she does. And when she started, I was like, wow, okay, this is how we're doing it, it's fine. And as a musical theater girly myself, I was like, I get wanting to express yourself in the way that you're most comfortable, in the way that you're most familiar with, which for her is singing. I get that. But she didn't do at all what I thought she was going to do. I could have forgiven the ukulele if she hadn't gone and like ignored all the accusations and been like, oh, you guys are bullying me. When it's like, no, we're calling out your very egregious behavior. Would you like to respond? Like, would you like to address literally anything that we're saying? Like, anything at all. All she did was say like, oh, I'm not going to address it. Oh, I'm not going to give in to the haters. And I'm like, well, perhaps you should. I just don't understand, because if she hadn't done it, then there would have been no problem with her refuting it, like proving the screenshots were fake, or like saying, hey, they're giving you this information out of context. Like, give us something substantial. But she didn't. She just said, I'm sad. Which is not enough. Like, to say the least, not enough. You are going to jail. Like, and it's hard, because she did say, like, the PG-13 thing, that she doesn't control what kids watch, which is true, but you could also, like, try. Because if you go to a show and you're looking at a kid that's like 9, he's obviously not an appropriate age to be doing sex jokes with. Like, you don't, I feel like you don't have to question that. I feel like that's just something that you just know. Like, you just feel that. Like, you're like, oh, that's a child. Hands shouldn't be in my pants. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. But I feel like that's a natural train of thought. And I get that, like, she has boundary issues. And I know this. Like, she said this a lot in her videos. But that's the cognitive thing. Like, you are dumb for that. No offense. When I first saw all of this stuff, I didn't look at the receipts. I was just like, oh, here they go, coming for Colleen again. And then I saw the videos, and I was like, how can she see this and be like, let's just, like, and I feel like it's going to get swept under the rug, because I don't know that anyone is pressing charges or anything. I don't think they are. She's definitely not, like, going to jail for this, but she definitely should be accountable. And accountability isn't, like, brief. It's not, like, a second of behavior. It's an ongoing thing. And that's something she doesn't seem to understand. She thinks that, like, oh, since I addressed it a little bit 2 weeks ago, it's fine. It's over. Forgive me, it's done. And that's just literally not how trauma works. Like, you damage people for life and take advantage of people. And even if that's not how you see it, that's what you did. And she kept saying that, like, she didn't have a bad intention. That's great and all, but it literally doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you thought you were doing, if you thought you were helping, even if you really genuinely saw nothing you did as wrong, doesn't matter because it hurt people and it set a bad standard. How many people saw how you were talking to them and then took that and talked to someone else that way? Like, how many people saw the way you spoke and was like, oh, this is cool, this is a cool way to speak to my young peers, and then that gets spread around to these children and they're telling it to their friends, telling it to their siblings. Like, it's not the way to be, regardless of whether your intentions were pure, which honestly I still believe they were. It is time to look inward. It is time to do some self-reflection and take accountability and responsibility for what you've done. You made up a song being like, oh, the haters gonna hate. Like, what? It's not the haters. It's not. I was such an avid Colleen follower. The family blogging is another thing. I stopped watching her lately because I just was seeing too much of her kids, and I was like, I did not subscribe to you to watch your kids. I'm not a mother. I don't care. Like, it's not for me. And so, like, I would find myself fast forwarding through her videos because it was just a bunch of children, and I eventually just stopped watching them because I'm like, it's not for me. It's now for mothers in their 30s, I thought. And it's disappointing to see that, like, when called attention to the fact that she has kids of her own, she got defensive instead of being like, oh, wow, yeah, I can totally see where you're coming from. If somebody sent my 6-year-old child, 7, 8, 9-year-old child, stuff that I've been sending these 13, 14-year-olds, I would lose it. I would blow my top. But instead, she's like,
don't threaten my child.
Which is not what was happening. And you know what else? You know what else bothered me? Was the fact that back when BLM and everything was happening, she got Todrick Hall to come on and be her token black person. And I was trying so hard to convince myself that that's not what it was. But it totally was. And you look back and you're like, wow, that's totally what happened. Like, she was like, oh, this sucks. Here's my black friend that I have. I have a black friend who's going to come and talk to me about it. And I'm going to ask him. I'm going to check in with my black friend. Hindsight is 2020. My vision has never been that. It's just crazy because you see all these things in the context of the person that she really is. And it's like, wow, how did I miss that? But it's because I was sold. I was lost in the sauce. And plus, I knew her since I was, well, you know, I felt like I knew her since I was small. So I was willing to overlook, like, what I considered the little things. I wasn't that different of a person back then than I am now. So it's just bringing into question, like, what else am I overlooking? Who else am I overlooking? What kind of behavior am I letting pass because I like this person? It just makes me think a little bit about the people that we let impact our lives and how we start to put blinders on to their behavior or make excuses. And you think that you won't, but you do. And that's kind of just human nature, but it's just disappointing. I thought I was smarter than that. Colleen is over. Like, she's not coming back from that. 10 minutes of a song? 10 minutes, bro. I get that you had a lot to say, but a lot of it was the exact same thing. And I'm not gonna lie. The song was catchy. Like, the lyrics kind of slapped. But she did play the same, like, 2 chords the entire time. So, you know, it's give and take. But the lyrics were good. But the fact that you sat down, read that, memorized it, and then recorded it probably several times and still posted it is wild to me. Where is your PR team? Where is your husband? Like, why did no one stop you? Why did you not stop you? I have so many questions because I recognize her to be not an irrational person, but like impulsive. She's impulsive. And so she probably did write this down in the span of like an hour and memorize it and post it. You have people in your house all the time. I've seen your home. I've seen all around your home because you never keep anything to yourself. So like the fact that no one was there to stop you is actually absurd. There's just no way I would have let her post this and keep it up. Like, it's still up. I don't know if it's up like by the time I post this, but like right now, it's up. And I listened to this thing like 5 times. The first time, my jaw dropped. Like, I was like, there's no way this is how she's responding to the situation. But it was. And it is. But it's really funny because it's 2023. We've been getting YouTube apologies since like 2005, I feel like. I don't even know. I have no receipts. But it's been long enough for you to kind of know how to go about it or how not to. For you to know, don't play an instrument. Like, I get it. Like, I get it. I'm a theater girly. I love a song. Okay? I love a dramatic moment. But that wasn't the time. And even if it were the time, you know, like, I feel like people could have overlooked the ukulele if you had said something meaningful, if you had said you were sorry, if you had addressed the impact that you had in any way, shape, or form whatsoever. But you didn't. You were like, oh, that's not what I meant to do. I'm not a groomer. Which It's tough because what even is a groomer? Like, if you think about it, everyone that interacts with a child consistently could be considered a groomer. In which case, you are that, right? Isn't it just consistent, inappropriate behavior towards minors? You create an environment of inappropriateness. You might not be what you see as a groomer in your head, like the big evil, bad pedophile, whatever. But nobody thinks that you are attracted to children. No one thinks that you were trying to do evil things with kids. Like, no one thinks that. We just think that you fostered an unhealthy environment for growing children. And that is true. Undoubtedly so. Undeniably. I get that, like, that sucks. But, like, at some point you gotta be like, oh yeah, that is what that was. My bad. I have changed. I will never do that again. You could have saved yourself. You could have saved all of us from this embarrassment. You know how embarrassing it is to have taken pictures with Miranda Singh's makeup in middle school and early high school? Do you know how embarrassing that is to have been your fan? And then this is what you are? You didn't have to go out like this. You didn't. You at least could have gone out the right way. Saying you're sorry. I don't know, donating to somebody. I don't know. The internet apologies are a whole different world. A lot of people probably wouldn't believe you because 2 weeks ago you're denying everything. So I don't know. But you know what I do think? I do think that if you hadn't linked up with Trisha Paytas, this never would have happened. I do think that you probably would have slipped all this under the rug like you have for the last, I don't know, 10 years. But because you linked up with Trisha, people were like, wow, I don't like her. Is she really as skeezy as this person she's linking up with? And then it turns out, yeah, yes, she is. And I do believe that from the bottom of my heart. Because when I saw that you were doing why am I talking to Colleen personally? Like, I know her. Like, she's going to watch this. When I saw that she was doing a podcast with Trisha Paytas, I was like, oh, that's a mistake. Oh, they're coming for her now. Because it's just, people that like Trisha Paytas are not people I want to be around. That's just it. I mean, she's racist, homophobic. Like, I can't say all of the words. Like, the way that, like, people reacted to, they're like, I'm so disappointed. I'm so, like, do I even know you? This is not a movie that you would make. Like, I got that you guys talk to each other, but I never thought that you would, like, align your goals. Like, I would never thought that I would have to see her in order to see you. That's a weird choice to make. And then everybody was looking into your past, and I feel like that was the instigator, because people were like, wow, who is this person? The Colleen that I know wouldn't align. Aligning yourself with someone like that was going to have more people looking into your past, more people looking into your behavior and your character, because you just lost a big chunk of credibility by joining up with her or even associating yourself with her. Honestly, it's tough. I feel bad for Ariana Grande, because now she gotta unfollow you. And I guess she's probably not on social media like that. Like, she's filming movies, she's probably not in it like that. But when she gets back, your butt is gone. It's gone. Like, my girl Ari wouldn't do that to me. She wouldn't support you. I know it. I feel like I've been talking forever. But, like, all in all, Colleen has disappointed a country, and she just continues to do so. Even staying quiet would have been better than this. And I don't know why people keep calling it an apology. She didn't say sorry, except for, like, sarcastically one time. Like, she did not apologize for the impact that her actions made on people. So, no, it's not an apology. It was just a weird video. I do hope somebody releases that on Spotify or, like, SoundCloud or something, because I would love to have that. That was, like, my biggest hit of the week, if I'm honest. And it makes sense, because, like, look at her friends. Todrick Hall, problematic. Trisha Paytas, problematic. Who else? Corey, definitely problematic. But I strongly dislike him. Every time I see him in a video, I skip. He's always got the most inappropriate jokes from what I've seen. You know, I don't know him, but, like, from what I've seen. But I guess, yeah, I should have seen this coming. With the people that she hangs out with, the way she acts, it's just so disappointing. Because I can see where Miranda could have gone. She could have just stayed this character that was a bad singer, that, like, thought she knew better than anyone else, who, you know, misunderstood the small things about life. Like, she could have stayed that way, but they had to make it weird and creepy and give her that weird uncle and, like, make everything about sex jokes. It got to the point I couldn't even, like, show my parents her stuff anymore, because it just was not something that they would want me to be watching. And it eventually became the thing I didn't want to watch, because, like, it's so sad to see such a fun character die. I don't know about Colleen, but Miranda is done for sure. And if she's not, she should be. That's it. That was obviously the most exciting thing that's happened to me in the last 6 months, because it's all I can talk about. That's the thing that drove me to make a video, because I've been trying to post my old videos. I really have, but it's just too much. So I just haven't posted anything. But I'm working on it. Bye bye, Ballinger.